Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big ideas shaping our world. Today, we're diving into a country you think, Italy. But we're going past the postcards and the cliches to look at how it's completely reinventing itself and what the new Made in Italy really is. When you picture Italy, the classics come to mind, right? The Colosseum, amazing art, incredible food. But that timeless beauty, well, it's only half the story. Right now, behind the scenes, a totally new Italy is starting to emerge, and it's being driven by some really big changes in technology, in society, and even in identity. So the real question is, what is it becoming? So first up, let's look at the new Italian experience. We're going to explore how the country is completely reshaping tourism, which is creating these fascinating and sometimes clashing ways for people to visit. On one extreme, you have this new wave of ultra-luxury. A perfect example is the new La Dolce Vita Orient Express. This quote really nails it. It's not just about getting from A to B. It's about creating a whole sensory package. Think of a five-star hotel that moves through the most beautiful landscapes, all wrapped in this incredible mid-century design. It's a throwback, for sure, but built for a very modern, very wealthy traveler. Okay, so you have that exclusive train on one side, and on the complete other end of the scale, you have this, 754,000. That's the estimated number of Airbnbs in Italy this year. This is a totally different kind of tourism revolution. It's massive, it's spread out, and it's pushing visitors way beyond the usual tourist zones. So who's actually running this whole Airbnb show? Well, you might picture someone just renting out their spare room. And yeah, those individual hosts are the huge majority. But here's the twist. Look at the data. A teeny tiny group of large professional hosts, we're talking just over 1%, they control a full quarter of all the listings. So that whole sharing economy idea, it's quickly turning into a very serious, very professional business. And then there's this third really powerful movement, slow, sustainable travel. Just look at the boom in cycling tourism. In only a few years, its economic impact has basically quadrupled to around 10 billion euros. And this isn't just about super fit cyclists anymore. It's about everyday people wanting to see the real Italy, exploring smaller towns and bringing money to places that the tour buses usually miss. Okay, section 2, the new Italian engine. This change we're talking about, it goes way deeper than just tourism. The very heart of what Made in Italy means is changing as the country's industrial core starts blending its famous craftsmanship with some serious science and sustainability. And at the core of that change is this idea of made in science. Now, this isn't about getting rid of tradition, not at all. It's about supercharging it. It's like adding a high-tech software update to that legendary Italian craftsmanship. In the industrial Northeast, for example, something like 3/4 of companies are already using digital tech to build everything from advanced AI to high-tech medical gear. It's a huge upgrade to the entire economic engine. So what does that actually look like on the ground? Well, check this out. There's a factory that takes the chemical waste from nearby leather tanneries, stuff that would normally be a huge problem. And through this brilliant, clean, circular process, they turn it into totally new, valuable products like natural fertilizers and green building materials. It's genius. It's innovation that's good for business and good for the planet. And it's not just new companies. Even iconic brands are making huge changes. Lavazza spent 5 years trying to solve the coffee capsule problem, and what they came up with is, well, it's just coffee. A solid, compressed tablet of coffee. No plastic, no aluminum, no wrapper. Of course, to do it, they had to invent a whole new kind of machine. It's a massive bet on a future with a whole lot less waste. And you can't talk about Italian industry without talking about Ferrari, right? Their latest car just won a major design award. And the reason why is so telling. The judges loved it because it has the soul of a classic 1960s Ferrari, but is packed with the most advanced modern aerodynamics. It's that same theme again, tradition powering innovation. All right, for our last section, let's bring it all back to the people. Because this isn't just about the economy or technology. We're seeing some really deep changes in community, in well-being, and even in the legal definition of what a family is. It all starts with this pretty amazing scientific finding. Apparently, when you look at a piece of art, your brain can light up in some of the exact same areas as when you see a person you love. That's not just a nice thought, it's the actual scientific basis for a new project that's using Italy's greatest asset, its art, for something incredibly human, healing. So in Rome, a project called Arte e Salute, Art and Health, is taking that idea and running with it. They're putting video installations and art exhibits right inside hospitals in places like oncology wards. The whole point is to reduce anxiety and just humanize what can be a really sterile and frightening experience for patients and their families. Okay, and now for one of the most charming, most surprising, and frankly, most Italian stories I've come across. The country has this famous cultural quirk, and one little town has decided to make it official. Yes, the umarell. You know, the retired men famous for standing around with their hands behind their backs watching construction sites. Well, in the town of Villa Santa, they're now being recruited as official civic volunteers. They are registered, they are insured, and their job is to help the city by supervising construction, checking on parks, and monitoring public works. It's just a wonderful way to turn a beloved local habit into a real community service. And finally, a really fundamental shift. Italy's highest court has made a landmark ruling. It says that forcing parents to be listed as father and mother on a child's ID card is discriminatory. This is huge. It basically forces the state to legally recognize the reality of modern Italy, where families come in all forms, including those with two mothers or two fathers. So after all that, we're left with this fascinating, complex picture of a country in motion. It's a place that's creating hyper-exclusive luxury for the few, while also empowering grassroots volunteers to watch over the streets. It's leaning into its ancient traditions, and at the exact same time, pushing into high-tech science. So the question is, what does this duality, this creative tension, tell us about where Italy goes from here?